Imagine standing at a bus stop, clutching your backpack tight, knowing every morning feels like walking into a battlefield. Now imagine that the very thing you fear most, the bullies who never miss a chance to humiliate you, decide today is the day to push harder. But what they didn't know, what nobody expected, was that the sound of roaring engines would soon fill the street. 99 bikers, leather jackets gleaming and hearts stronger than steel, were about to change everything. This is the story of a girl who thought she was alone, until an army showed up for her. The sun had barely risen, painting the sky with a pale orange glow, when Emily wheeled herself toward the old cracked sidewalk that led to the bus stop. At just 15, she had learned to live with the heavy weight of her wheelchair, but she hadn't yet learned to live with the cruelty of her classmates. Every morning was a gamble. Would they ignore her today, or would they find new ways to remind her she was different? Emily adjusted her glasses, brushing a loose strand of chestnut hair behind her ear, and tried to focus on the quiet morning birds instead of the churning in her stomach. She wanted to believe today would be just another day, just a bus ride, just another set of classes, just another lunch alone. But fate had other plans. A group of boys in varsity jackets appeared around the corner, loud with laughter, tossing a football between them. Emily recognized them instantly. Jake, their leader, tall, broad-shouldered, with a smirk that had crushed more than a few spirits, spotted her first. His grin widened, and Emily's heart sank. Well, if it isn't Wheels," Jake sneered, tossing the ball to one of his friends. The others snickered. "Waiting for your chauffier." "Oh wait, I forgot. You are your own chauffier." Emily lowered her gaze, willing the bus to arrive, but it didn't. The boys circled her like wolves, their shadows stretching over the cracked pavement. One of them suddenly stepped in front of her chair, pretending to trip over his own feet, then laughed. Another made car engine noises, mocking the way her wheelchair hummed when she moved it. But then Jake bent down, voice dripping with cruelty. "Hey, you think you're tough just rolling around? Let's see how fast those wheels spin." Before Emily could react, he shoved the front of her chair. It jerked forward violently. The small front wheels caught on the crack in the pavement, and Emily pitched forward, falling hard onto the concrete. Her palms scraped raw against the gravel, her glasses skittered across the sidewalk, and her backpack burst open, spilling notebooks and pens onto the street. The boys roared with laughter. Jake raised his phone, already recording his friends egging him on. "This is gold," he shouted. "Wheels down! Wheels down!" Tears blurred Emily's vision. But it wasn't the pain of scraped hands or bruised knees that crushed her. It was the sound of laughter ringing in her ears, the kind that told her she didn't belong, that she was nothing more than a joke to them. She wanted to vanish, to melt into the pavement, to stop existing in this cruel moment. But then, the sound came. At first, it was faint, like distant thunder rolling over the hills. A deep, low rumble that grew louder with every passing second. The boys paused, confused, looking down the street. The rumble turned into a roar, steady and powerful, until the ground itself seemed to tremble. Emily, still on the ground, lifted her head and squinted toward the horizon. And then she saw them. Motorcycles, not one, not two, but dozens. The sun glinted off chrome handlebars and black helmets, the street filling with the echo of engines. A line of bikers, side by side, leather jackets patched with emblems of brotherhood, freedom, and fire. 99 strong, they moved as one, an unstoppable wave of power and presence. The bullies froze. Their laughter died in their throats. One by one, the engines cut off, leaving a heavy silence in their wake. And from the front of the pack, a tall man with a gray beard and sharp eyes stepped off his bike. He wore a vest stitched with patches, each one telling a story of roads traveled and battles faced. His boots hit the pavement with authority as he strode toward Emily. He stopped, crouched beside her, and gently picked up her glasses, handing them back to her with a warmth that made her chest ache. "You okay, sweetheart?" he asked softly. Emily nodded, still trembling. The man glanced over his shoulder at the bullies, who were now pale and silent, their confidence drained away. Then he looked back at Emily, his voice steady but kind. "Don't worry, you're not alone anymore." The leader's name was Bear. Nobody knew his real name, but the way he carried himself, calm, protective, larger than life, made the nickname fit perfectly. He stood, towering over the boys, his leather jacket creaking as he crossed his arms. The other bikers dismounted, forming a protective circle around Emily. 99 men and women, tattoos peeking out from sleeves, steel chains glinting, but their eyes, every single one, burned with loyalty. Jake stammered, We were just joking around." "Joking?" Bear's voice cut through the air like a blade. He pointed at Emily, still shaken on the ground. "Does she look like she's laughing?" The boys shifted uncomfortably, but none dared speak. The silence was louder than their earlier taunts, and for once, Emily felt the power had shifted. She wasn't the victim anymore. Bear knelt beside her again. "You ride with us today," he said firmly. Emily blinked in confusion, unsure what he meant. But then one of the bikers wheeled her chair upright, dusted it off, and secured her backpack. Bear gently lifted Emily and placed her back in her chair, his movements careful and respectful, like she was family. The roar of engines started again, but this time, it wasn't frightening. It was a promise. The bikers flanked Emily's wheelchair as she rolled forward, an honor guard escorting her to the bus stop. The boys who had tripped her stood frozen, powerless against the sight of 99 bikers guarding the girl they had tried to break. When the school bus finally arrived, the driver's jaw nearly dropped.